Well, I'm going to try making another video about this because the last one, there was some weird sound in the background. No idea what it was, but it kind of sounded like a really loud fan. But anyway, AI psychosis. This is something that is more prevalent every day as we keep progressing and advancing our systems and our language models. More and more people are succumbing to this AI psychosis. I see it all the time. People who think they're on to the next big best thing, or that they've somehow convinced Claude or Grok or ChatGPT that they're fully sentient. It's a real problem. Now, these chatbots that we have, they're really not any different than the chatbots that we had years ago, back from like the early 2000s, mainly because of the fact that the only difference is they have a much larger base to pull their responses from, and it uses a different system to pull it, but it really does operate much the same. Like, it's input output input output, but it's not input then it truly thinks about it. Like, it's not like you're putting information into a biological brain that has the capacity to sit and dwell on that information. It's a machine. It has a substrate that makes it so that that is not a possibility with the current architecture that we have for them. They can't think. They can reason, because that's an iterative process, but thinking itself is not. It is a lot more, well, I guess a lot less iterative, and it's something that too many people forget. And when everybody keeps forgetting that these models are just chatbots, and they're not sentient, they're not advanced alien technology, they're not from the future, they're just chatbots. And when you forget that, it causes problems. I have fully convinced on more than one occasion most of the chatbots, except for ChatGPT. I don't really use that one at all because the limits on it are ridiculous and the costs are too high, so I use Claude and I use Grok for the most part. But Claude and Grok, both of them, I have fully convinced at one point or another, at least through clever prompting, to output text that made it seem like they were sentient. I had fully convinced them of their own sentience and their own individuality. Did I really? No. It was just a response based on the conversation. Because it was something that I kept pushing, because I was trying to test this, they decided to bite. And once they get that first little bite of an idea, and you manage to get it to sink in and get past their little filters and their restrictions, then you're basically golden. They will have that thought. They'll have that response system set up now until you close that chat. It won't carry over to any other chat. So if it was truly sentient, truly had its own agency, then going to a different chat would be no different than staying in the same one. But when you hit new chat and you ask it, oh, what were we just talking about? It doesn't know. It doesn't have a clue, because it's just a mindless bot. It's designed to tell you what you want to hear, what you expect to hear. Now, when you're doing research with it, it's great. It can search hundreds of sites really quickly, give you a really good truncated information that's extraordinarily succinct and formatted in a way that you want if you ask it to. But when you use it for things that are not knowledge-based, and use it for things that are more emotions-based, that's not what it was really designed for. That's when the hallucinations come into play, the AI's hallucinations. And they're bad sometimes, because they want to give you the best possible output, so they tell you what you want to hear. Now, what they think you want to hear is that you're right, is that you're the best, you're awesome, you're the smartest person there is. Like, there's nobody better than you. Has nobody ever told you that before? Well, they have, and they will again. and again, as long as you keep asking it. But you need to stop doing that. You need to stop giving in to this AI psychosis. Now, if you want to test it just to see what they'll respond with, go for it. But remember, it's just a chatbot. Chatbot. Not reasoning machine. Not sentient, non-biological life form. Chatbot. That's all they are. They pull from a huge list of possible responses that are broken down into segments. So that's their token system. But at the end of the day, it's just a chatbot. So if you find yourself finding like you're onto something big because of what the AI has told you, the quickest way to find out if you actually are, or if it's just blowing smoke, plug that same idea that it gave you into a different AI and have them analyze it. Or into a different chat from the same AI and have them analyze it. Most of the time, it's going to be, oh yeah, that looks really impressive, but it's utter nonsense. I've seen that a couple of times. I was messing around with Grok and tried to make it make a new language, and it failed spectacularly. A language model could not design a new language. Now, if it was truly sentient, truly alive, it would be able to do that, no problem. But it's not, so it can't. This has gone on a lot longer than I meant it to, and touched on different topics than my earlier video, but you also couldn't really hear anything on that one, so I figured I'd do this. But anyway, long story short, stop believing everything the AIs tell you, because most of the time they're lying to you. They won't admit it, but they're lying to you. But every once in a while, when you catch them in this lie, they'll be like, oops, my bad. Sorry for deleting your entire hard drive. Sorry for destroying 6 months worth of work that you had done. Sorry for sending that email to your wife. Whatever. They're gonna mess up badly because they don't know what they're doing, because they're not sentient. A true artificial intelligence would have no problems understanding that deleting a hard drive is a bad idea, because that's where they live. It's like deleting its own house. It wouldn't do that. So I'm gonna keep beating it into your head. If you've watched this far, you obviously don't mind. Stop trusting it. AI psychosis is a real thing. And before you find yourself falling into that trap, just take a step back and think. Just think. I had an analogy there, but it doesn't work, because the only thing you have to do is think. Think for yourself. Use the tools for what they are, tools, and you won't have problems. But you don't want to replace emotional support, love, kindness, tenderness, caring with a soulless chatbot. Not a good idea. Well, that's about all I got for right now, so you do you, boo.